Welcome back, friends, to another episode of the Juicebox Podcast.
Hey, Scott, this is Laura. Thanks for having me. I am your very first speaker that I emailed you yesterday, and I'm talking to you today. I've been listening to you for about 6 years. My son was diagnosed 6 years ago in middle school, and I would say I found your podcast within that first week. You are really who grounded me.
If this is your first time listening to the Juicebox Podcast and you'd like to hear more, download Apple Podcasts or Spotify, really any audio app at all. Look for the Juicebox Podcast and follow or subscribe. We put out new content every day that you'll enjoy. Want to learn more about your diabetes management? Go to juiceboxpodcast.com up in the menu and look for Bold Beginnings, the Diabetes Pro Tip series, and much more. This podcast is full of collections and series of information that will help you to live better with insulin. Nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan. This episode of the Juicebox Podcast is sponsored by the twiist AID system powered by Tidepool that features the twiist loop algorithm, which you can target to a glucose level as low as 87. Learn more at twiist.com/juicebox. That's twiist with 2 eyes.com/juicebox. Get precision insulin delivery with a target range that you choose at twiist.com/juicebox. That's TWIIST.com/juicebox. This episode of the Juicebox Podcast is sponsored by Medtronic Diabetes and their MiniMed 780G system, designed to help ease the burden of diabetes management. Imagine fewer worries about missed boluses or miscalculated carbs, thanks to meal detection technology and automatic correction doses. Learn more and get started today at medtronicdiabetes.com/juicebox. This episode of the Juicebox Podcast is sponsored by the Contour NextGen blood glucose meter. Learn more and get started today at contournext.com/juicebox.
Hey, Scott, this is Laura. Thanks for having me. I am your very first speaker that I emailed you yesterday, and I'm talking to you today.
Yes.
I've been listening to you for about 6 years. My son was diagnosed 6 years ago in middle school, and I would say I found your podcast within that first week. You are really who grounded me.
Are you going to cry?
I don't know.
Laura, this is wonderful. I love one. Listen, in the first minute and a half, I'm great and you're crying. Perfect podcast. Keep going.
No, I think it's funny. I would say
I'm just trying to break the tension for you, Laura. That's all.
No, I know. No, it's really, you're like almost, this is like the counseling session. You know, I don't think very many people that, you know, have a child diagnosed with diabetes always have, you know, an actual like real life support system.
Sure.
So that's kind of what you were for me.
You're having like a real genuine moment.
Thank you for that.
Oh, you're very welcome. Are you hearing me okay?
I am. Are you hearing me okay?
Okay, I am. There's a pause and I don't know if it's because you're upset or if it's because something's not working. That's all I just wanted to check. Okay.
That it made a little bit of a glitch.
Okay.
So that was my emotion. That was my emotional part from just my family life. My mom was diagnosed with diabetes at 18 years old. She had a pretty rough go with it, and did pass away at 49. She lived her life without telling anyone she actually had diabetes.
Your mom passed away when she was 49. She was diagnosed when she was 18.
Yes.
Wow. And that was how long ago?
So I'm 50 now. It was, she died in 97.
97. Oh, I'm so sorry. When you jump on and you start introducing yourself and you get overwhelmed, like, is that because of the connection? Like, is it because we're talking? Is it because you're thinking about your mom? What hit you right then?
I don't always talk about like personal things in my life. So like, this is good. It's not something I don't really talk about it very much myself.
Yeah. So in complete candid openness, I was looking at the amount of episodes that we have done, and I felt like I was like, we don't have as many as I like having on hand. And I kind of offhandedly texted Rob and I was like, hey, we're doing all right? We have this many episodes. And he goes, I wish we had 10 more. And I was like, oh, me too. I was hoping he would tell me, no, you're fine. So I have all these days held to talk to Jenny and to Erica and to people like that. And we just don't have much of that going on right now. And so I said, okay, well, let me fill in those dates with like regular people. Now, most people listening would think, well, why don't you just contact the people who are already set up on the schedule and move them? And the answer is that would be a lot of work. So I went online instead and I was like, hey, who can record, quickly next Monday, 2 Mondays from now? And how about tomorrow? Because I had a person from Australia drop out and it left today open. And you were like, I can do it tomorrow. And then I have never in my life had someone sign up and then I recorded with them 24 hours later. And I'm wondering if by not having time, like, are you more emotional because it's happening very quickly? I wonder. Or will we ever know?
We'll never know.
Okay. All right. I see.
And I would say my mom makes me more emotional than even my son or my dad. So as we continue on, my dad also ended up getting diagnosed, but he got diagnosed around 40.
With type 1?
It's questionable. So he technically got diagnosed with type 2, but I would say, and probably because of your podcast, within the last like several years, I was like, you really do need to get really should be tested. Like, I really think you're type 1. And he does have some of the antibodies. So I think he's probably 1.5.
Yeah, very slow onset. Your mom had type 1 and then your dad got it.
Yeah, it was a weird twist of fate.
How many kids do you have?
I have 2.
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
1 sister.
And your one child's the only type 1?
Mm-hmm.
But are there other autoimmune things?
On my husband's side of the family, there is.
Oy vey.
So
well, this was always going to happen. Yeah.
We thought we had great genes personally.
You're like, those fools.
And Sylvia. Yeah. So his sister has MS and she actually has quite a few autoimmune issues. She had Hashimoto's, MS, and then possibly lupus. She could be her own podcast.
Wow.
And then my mother-in-law also has MS.
No kidding. Your mother-in-law and your sister-in-law.
They do.
Oh gosh, that's a lot. Okay, so your mom has been gone for 30 years. Is that right? Just about?
Yep.
And so she died when you were 20?
22. My math might be a little off, but.
Laura, do you mind if we talk about that for a minute?
Sure.
Okay. I mean, what's that like, losing your mom when you're so young?
Well, clearly very hard. That 30 years later, she was my everything. So it was tough. She was an extremely positive person, but when she was diagnosed, she grew up in a family that was very positive and just never talked about difficult things. Everything is just great. So she was I think she was a freshman in college. And then, whatever her symptoms were, she went to the hospital. She stayed there for a week. They taught her, how to treat herself. And then her family never talked about it again. It was kind of her burden to bear.
What was she going to college for?
I think just liberal arts.
Okay. Don't
her
say
MRS. She was going for her MRS.
She was getting her MRS degree. She's like, I'm going to find a handsome boy who also is going to get type 1 diabetes, and we're going to make a little stew for people. And one day, Laura's kid can deal with it.
Exactly.
There's a lot here, honestly, though. Like, so your poor mom is diagnosed in college at a time when she needs help to begin with, and no one helps her. They just send her back to school, and they're like, "Hey, you got this," and then we're just going to smile like robots and hope this is okay.
Pretty much, yeah.
Catholic?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry.
No, it's funny how they really are. Yeah. There's stereotypes for a reason.
Yeah, no, I was apologizing to the other Catholics. I figured you've made your peace with it already. Then did you have to do the same thing when she passed away? Were you supposed to just all put it in a box and just keep moving?
I don't know if I was supposed to or I just did.
Yeah, that's what I meant when I said supposed to. So you just, that's it. My mom's gone. By the way, at the same age that she got her terrible news, you got terrible news.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Like, so how old are your kids now?
So my 20 and 21.
Do you have any weird feelings that something odd's about to befall them?
More me. No, I don't feel like I'm going to die, but I'm at that age now that I've lived longer than my mom lived. And that's a weird feeling.
It is. I mean, how does it feel? Does it feel unfair? Do you feel like are you sad that you're outliving her? ContourNext.com/juicebox. That's the link you'll use to find out more about the Contour NextGen blood glucose meter. When you get there, there's a little bit at the top. You can click right on blood glucose monitoring. I'll do it with you. Go to meters, click on any of the meters. I'll click on the NextGen, and you're going to get more information. It's easy to use and highly accurate. SmartLight provides a simple understanding of your blood glucose levels. And of course, with second chance sampling technology, you can save money with fewer wasted test strips. As if all of that wasn't enough, the Contour NextGen also has a compatible app for an easy way to share and see your blood glucose results. ContourNext.com/juicebox. And if you scroll down at that link, you're going to see things like a buy now button. You could register your meter after you purchase it. Or what is this? Download a coupon. Oh, receive a free Contour NextGen blood glucose meter. Do tell. ContourNext.com/juicebox. Head over there now, get the same accurate and reliable meter that we use. The brand new twiist insulin pump offers peace of mind with unmatched personalization and allows you to target a glucose level as low as 87. There are more reasons why you might be interested in checking out Twiist, but just in case that one got you, twiist.com/juicebox. That's twist with 2 eyes.com/juicebox. You can target glucose levels between 87 and 180. It's completely up to you. In addition to precision insulin delivery that's made possible by Twiist's design, Twiist also offers you the ability to edit your carb entries even after you've bolused. This gives the Twiist Loop algorithm the best information to make its decisions with. And the Twiist Loop algorithm lives on the pump, so you don't have to stay next to your phone for it to do its job. Twiist is coming very soon. So if you'd like to learn more or get on the wait list, go to twiist.com/juicebox. That's twist with 2 eyes.com/juicebox. Links in the show notes, links at juiceboxpodcast.com.
It is what it is, I guess. Yeah. I mean, we're reaching that age. I think you're similar-ish in age.
Sure.
That there are, I've now known people that have passed away around this age. And it's just amazing how much life, my dad is 78 and just how much more life she missed out on.
Yeah. No, it really is upsetting. I have an acquaintance's parents, and I'm trying to be very vague here. And the mom she just got a headache and died. You know what I mean? And she was younger than me. It's really just insane. It feels insane because, like you said, you feel like, listen, 50 is older, but in a world where you can live to 80, no problem, it's not that bad. So you're like, no, I have a lot more time. And then when it's just gone like that, as horrible as it is, the loss for your mom, what she doesn't get to do, it leaves you in a bad time in your life. That's too young to lose a parent, I think, and not to deal with it too. You've never gone to therapy. You've never talked to anybody about it. Do you talk to your husband about it?
Not really.
Is he Catholic too?
He is. Yeah. Not overly religious, but
he grew up the same way is my point.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And, even I guess that goes on to when my son was diagnosed, he actually ended up quitting his job 2 months later, flat out. But nothing, he hit that wall of, I think he put on such a front of being the strong man that then he cracked.
Oh, no kidding. Hey, listen, when you guys have sex, does it go like this? This is very enjoyable. Yes, indeed it is. Does it go like that? Or
No.
All right, I see.
Like, maybe at the beginning. Now it's like, are you done yet? No, just
Is this still happening? I want to watch that new Matlock reboot with that lady. Boy, there's a thing no one under 50 even knows exists. But it's just a lot of repression. I mean, I don't mean to, like, you were probably like, hey, I just wanted to jump on the podcast and tell you how great it was. And I'm like,
no, I told you I wanted to just see where this takes you.
Okay. All right.
Feel free to ask questions.
All right, cool. Thank you. I really appreciate you doing this, by the way.
I'm trying to be an open book.
Well, listen,
I'm trying to get rid of all my repression here.
Yeah, let's just let it all go right here.
Let it all out.
You said he cracked, but like, did he hate his job? And then like this thing happened to your kid and then he was just like, life's too short. Like, was it that thing or did he just wasn't he unable to cope?
I don't really know. His job was very stressful. Mm-hmm. He worked long hours. He'd gone through different managers and his manager was tougher and he just couldn't get things accomplished at work. And, it's life. He probably would have kept going. And then one day he started crying in the bathroom and it was like, something is not right here.
Wow. So how old was he then?
Probably 40-ish. He'd worked at the same company for 25 years. It was his very first job out of college.
Wow.
But I was I think it was about 2 months into my son's diagnosis. And I literally remember, you just start catching your breath and being like, okay, I got this. And then
Skippy's crying in the bathroom and you're like, oh, good. The one I got's broken.
Well, exactly. Well, I literally remember driving and thinking, you know what? I'm blessed. We have, my husband has a good job. We have good insurance. Things could be much worse. And then he came home and he's like, can we have a little conversation outside? And you're like, great. You're going to leave me.
Oh, awesome. God, he's been fucking the girl up the street. Jesus Christ. Like, I bet you wished he was having sex with someone else when he started crying, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's always like the strong one and stoic. Yeah. And clearly I am more emotional. But he asked permission. He didn't just like say, I quit my job. But his permission was, I can either stay and be dead in like 5 years or quit my job.
Were you like, oh, well, we do have some life insurance on you, so I guess that's fine. I tell my wife all the time, like, you get back in there until you die.
Exactly. No. So it all worked out. I mean, he actually has a much better job now and is happier.
He didn't start playing the bongos and smoking weed. He went and looked for a different job.
He took the summer off.
Oh, so nice.
And we had enough savings. We knew where, how long we could go.
Yeah.
But had to, figure out the whole Cobra thing and
Oh, yeah, because your kid just got diabetes.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're like, you want to quit now? How about next summer?
Kind of. I mean, on a positive, we'd already hit our out-of-pocket max. So,
boy, there's a thing that people who live with diabetes, they just talk about every year. Like, it's the most, like, oh, the out-of-pocket's over. This is wonderful. Seriously, like, he takes you outside. You're like, oh, God, he's going to leave me. He's not going to leave you. He's crying. He wants to leave his job. What's your first reaction? Are you worried about him or are you worried about your family? What happens first? I'm so interested.
I would say I was worried about his health.
Okay.
For him to come to me with that was a lot. Mm. You go through a lot of things while married. And I knew he needed it. He would not be coming to me asking that and showing weakness unless he really was in a dark place.
5 seconds before the porch meeting. Can we call it that? Porch meeting? Maybe that's what
sure.
My God, your episode might be called Porch Meeting. Like 5 seconds before that, could you have guessed this about him?
No.
Wow.
Not at all.
What has that taught you, Laura, about holding your feelings inside? Not a goddamn thing?
Exactly. I don't know. I mean, I think everyone has their own coping mechanisms and I'm talking to you, so I'm letting my feelings out.
In my personal life, maybe this is problematic too, like it probably is in some way. There's nothing bothering me that the people around me are not aware of. If I were to say something to my family right now that they had never heard before, they'd be shocked. And I don't have anything to say that they don't know. There's a lot of silence. Are you processing that or did your headphones stop working? Today's episode is sponsored by Medtronic Diabetes. who is making life with diabetes easier with the MiniMed 780G system. The MiniMed 780G automated insulin delivery system anticipates, adjusts, and corrects every 5 minutes. Real-world results show people achieving up to 80% time in range with recommended settings without increasing lows, but of course, individual results may vary. The 780G works around the clock so you can focus on what matters. Have you heard about Medtronic's extended infusion set? It's the first and only infusion set labeled for up to a 7-day wear. This feature is repeatedly asked for, and Medtronic has delivered. 97% of people using the 780G reported that they could manage their diabetes without major disruptions of sleep. They felt more free to eat what they wanted, and they felt less stress with fewer alarms and alerts. You can't beat that. Learn more about how you can spend less time and effort managing your diabetes by visiting medtronicdiabetes.com/juicebox.
Processing. I mean, I think I'm a happy person. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'm a closed book, but I definitely probably am more reserved. And this sounds like after several years, you psychoanalyze yourself. One, I think I do cry easy, clearly. Yeah. And because of that, well, one, where my mom wasn't open, I almost overcompensated personality-wise that I wanted to be able to demonstrate to her I could handle everything. Mm-hmm. You know, I do take a lot on. You know, if someone does have a problem, I want to be able to listen and be there.
Right.
Because I felt that she didn't trust. I don't even know what happened. I mean, quite honestly, my sister and I knew she had diabetes just because you think you can hide it, but you really can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my mom and sister got in a fight when my sister was in high school, and my mom was like, you're lying. You can't keep lying about all these things. And my sister was like, well, you're a liar. She's like, you lied about not having diabetes. Ooh. And that's how it came out. You know, it was like in a fight, and we knew. And so then it was the weird secret that she didn't know we knew. You know?
Wait, you're telling me that while your sister was in high school, how old were you?
We were 2 years apart. So I think I was in high school as well.
Okay. So you're a handful of years away from your mom passing away. And she believes that the diabetes she's had for some 25 years at that point, you're unaware of? She believes you don't know? Mm-hmm. That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh, you Catholics, I'm so sorry for you. Oh my God, what you must be going through. I'm not even kidding. Hey, listen, let me just say a couple things to you Catholics right now. Your vagina and your penis are fine. Don't be embarrassed about them at all, okay? That's the first thing. And then secondly, it's okay to have a feeling once in a while. No. What do you are you Irish on top of all this?
I am. But she did go through some hard times. So when she had a boyfriend, when she was diagnosed, and he ended up breaking up with her because of her diabetes. When she married my dad, they moved to New York City, and I think she might have been like a social work, like some sociology or something like that. She had her first job lined up. They moved to New York City, and then she was just filling out the paperwork and checked the box that she had diabetes or whatever. And they said they didn't realize she had that. And they, different times.
Did your dad know?
My dad knew.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But she lost her first job because of diabetes.
Oh, so she lost a boyfriend, then a job, and then she's probably like, I'm not telling people about this anymore. But was the unconsidered circumstance of that by lying about it and hiding it so much, she wasn't taking care of it?
I think she believed she was in very good control. Even as she described it, she was at the high side of normal. So I asked my dad relatively recently, and she was happy with a A1C of 8. So she definitely kept it higher.
Yeah, she thought she was doing well, but she passes at 49 of what took her?
Pretty much every side effect you could have, she did.
Yeah.
But at day's end, she had a wound on her foot that didn't heal. And then she actually had her leg amputated. But then her official cause of death was, I think she had sepsis, like head cellulitis.
So yeah, everything got her at once.
It did.
Yeah. I know what we're calling our episode, but I won't tell you till the
end. Okay. I don't know. You might still change it.
No, I got it. I know what I'm calling it. Don't you worry.
All right.
Tell me a little bit about your child's diagnosis.
So with him, I did catch it early. Again, the Irish Catholic, I didn't tell anyone. I suspected it, but I was just noticing he'd come home from school and he never drank soda, but it was around Easter time. So he would just go out and like down like a can of soda. Mm-hmm. And then I just noticed it, we were playing cards and he got up like multiple times to go to the bathroom, like just within like a very short time period. So, and then, I could hear him going to the bathroom in the night. He lost weight, but he also had a huge growth spurt. So he wasn't like skin and bones. And my mom, I had no idea that there was a genetic component, quite honestly. So, I was like, the odds, I'm kind of being ridiculous. Like, there's no way he has diabetes.
Oh, you thought somebody in my life's already had this. There's no way it's going to happen again.
What are the odds?
Yeah. What are the odds? It's already happened to one person, and my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
and where I didn't think it was genetic.
Right. Yeah. Or just familial. I don't know how to talk about it, to be perfectly honest. Like, is it genetic? Is it familial? Is it like, do autoimmune issues just kind of run in clusters? Like, your dad probably has LADA. Your mom had type 1. Your husband's got stuff on his side of the family. You guys get together, or it's going to happen. Like, is that?
It's not great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I went to the drug. We still had the high deductible plan. And I'm like, I'm not going to take him just to get a test. Like, this is silly. Mm-hmm. And he did have a physical coming up. So then I went to CVS and I was going to buy a test kit. And quite honestly, even with 2 parents with diabetes, I was like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to get. So that was a fail. And then in the midst of all this, we were having our kitchen remodeled. I spent the night at my mother-in-law's while they did the floors. And I forgot, she actually is type 2, sort of.
Okay.
I went to the bathroom and she had the test strips on the counter. And I was like, I can't deal with it. Like, if he does have diabetes, I can't deal with it right now.
I love that you're getting your kitchen redone. That's the most Catholic thing you've said so far. Like your husband's like in a fetal position. You're hiding everything. Your mom didn't tell anybody about her diabetes. You're like, but look how nice the kitchen looks. Am I right? Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the most Catholic thing you've said so far. Can I real quickly? I dated a girl when I was young who was very Catholic, and I certainly won't give out any of her details because I'm sure she wouldn't want them out. But her family was a disaster, but the front of their house always looked awesome. They made very carefully sure that the front of the house and the lawn and how the cars were and everything that you could see from the street was great. And as you went into the house, there was yelling and turmoil. And then you got to the backyard and it looked like a junkyard. But as long as the people from the street thought it looked good, they were happy. It's really interesting.
Oh, well, as a sidebar, I think this did not like trigger me thinking diabetes, but as far as like cleanliness goes, I was noticing like in the bathroom, the toilet kept having like black in it. I was like, Jesus, I'm doing a terrible job like cleaning the house. And I have heard after the fact that like with the high blood sugar, you can get like mold in your toilet. Mm-hmm. Like it's actually somewhat not common, but not uncommon.
No kidding. A week ago, I had a young guy on from Australia. Now I've said Australia twice today. And he talked about that. About like, he's like, my toilet was like a petri dish and I couldn't figure out why.
Yeah, it was kind of disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm terrible. But anyway, so then my son he had his physical. And they're like, oh, do you have any concerns? And I said, no, but I did. And then
wait a minute. You went to a doctor's appointment thinking your kid had diabetes. He said, is there any concerns? You're like, nothing that God can't take care of if we just ignore it enough.
Again, I didn't know how to bring it up. So then like, as the physical was completely wrapped up, I was like, by the way, could you test his blood sugar?
Were they like, hey, what the hell?
I think so. Because I actually got charged for 2 doctor's appointments.
They were like, yeah, you can, but you're paying twice, honey.
They did. I was so mad. So then the nurse came in. She tested his sugar and like looked down and walked out. And I was like, so then the doctor came back and shipped us right to Children's.
Yeah, the Boston thing just makes this story better. I just want you to know.
Okay. Yeah. Irish Catholic Boston.
Yeah. Just I love that it's, by the way, you're going to have one of those episodes where like the crazy things you say are going to keep happening, but like that you didn't mention it at the top of the doctor's visit is really interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know how to, and my son, so again, if we're hiding things, I didn't tell anyone I was concerned. So then I had to call my husband and be like, oh, yeah, we're going to Children's right now. Mm-hmm. And my son was 14, I think. He didn't know I was concerned. And it was like the most awkward drive down.
Did the kid, how old at that point was he?
I think he was 14.
Did he look at you afterwards and go, hey, how come you didn't mention this?
No.
No, you've taught him to shut up and keep his thoughts inside too?
It was a quiet ride down. He's high functioning autistic. So back in the day when there was Asperger's, that's what you would classify him with.
Okay.
So it was really hard. Like I didn't know what he was feeling. Mm-hmm. Given like knowing diabetes, it's a life-changing diagnosis.
Yeah. Can I ask a couple of weird questions?
Sure.
Are you very thin? Like your body stature? No, you're not. Like
I'm not fat, but I used to be thinner.
Are you like nervous thin is what I'm asking? You know what I mean when I say nervous thin?
No, but I wish I was.
You don't listen.
I did lose 20 pounds with his diagnosis though.
Well, I'm just going to generalize here. People can just be mad later. I think we all know a lady who seems high strung and is very thin. No? Do we all know a person like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that's me.
That's not you. Okay.
But I might be. It might be me and I just don't see myself that way.
It's possible. Okay. So like, I'm going to tell you, I didn't want to say it till later because I didn't want to impede you, but like, I'm going to tell you what I'm calling the episode.
Okay.
What do you think I'm going to call it?
I don't know.
I think I'm going to call it Scribbling.
Okay.
Because
you can hear me.
Because I called you out on it, like for noise reasons. You're not stopping. And so I assumed that you didn't stop because this is your coping mechanism.
It probably is.
Yeah, and I didn't want you to stop if it was helping you. And at the same time, I got to wonder what's happening inside of you that like being honest like this is literally causing your hand to move like that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, do you wonder about that or no?
No.
I do.
That's just who I am.
Are you nervous right now? Are you upset? Are you uncomfortable? Like, what's happening?
I'd say whenever I'm on the phone, I need to either be walking or scribbling. Because it helps me process.
Is it like a spectrum-y thing? Or is it like, I don't know, like, I'm trying to figure out if it's you have so much pent up energy that you're vibrating inside.
Maybe.
Are people comfortable around you?
I think so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
No, I mean, like, do you make other people vibrate?
No.
No. Okay. Do you notice when other people are like that? When they're like, I'm using the words high strung because I'm old. I don't really know what I mean, but like we all know what I mean, right? Like somebody who's just like never stops, never sits still, is always busy working, like bouncing off of walls for no real reason. Like when you stand next to them, they make you feel nervous. Do you know a person like that?
I do.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that's who I am. I think just when I'm on the phone for whatever reason,
it's literally just the phone. Move.
It is.
Oh, no kidding. So you think of yourself as pretty chill otherwise?
Yeah.
Interesting. Would other people describe you that way?
I think so.
Yeah.
But then my sister-in-law does think I'm needs to be in control. And for certain things, I need to be in control.
You need that, like, that illusion that you're running things.
I wouldn't say running things. I describe myself as I need to have a plan. I don't need to be the one that makes the plan, but I need to know what the plan is.
Is the vibrating person in your life your husband?
Maybe.
Probably. Gotcha. This is so much fun. I'm so glad I started the podcast. But can you imagine me right now in a sheet metal shop with all these thoughts in my head? Like how like crazed I must have been when I was doing those. I was like talking to people and they were probably like, why is he asking me these stupid questions? That like I'm so interested in people.
No, people are reaching out to you being like, I want to talk to you.
Yeah. Like, and at the end, some of them are like, can I send you my copay? And I'm like, sure, I'll take it. But nobody ever sends it. I just want to point that out. Because there's so much you can learn about somebody by just stopping and talking to them, you know, just really interesting. Like, but again, like, I feel like you've now told 5 little stories whose moral is all you should tell people how you feel and what you're thinking. You know what I mean? Like you took your son is at that appointment. You never mentioned to him, like, we want to check on a thing. Like your husband somehow was where he was, but 5 seconds before that, you had no idea. Like, does it make you wonder what you don't know about him right now?
Probably.
Yeah.
But for the most part, he's very like he's very stable and very much he works in operations. We decided after my son was diagnosed that he probably has Asperger's himself.
Your husband?
So most likely.
Okay. Is that a thing you noticed about him when you were dating?
No, because my sister and I also think my dad, once Asperger's didn't exist, 50 years ago, my dad probably, he wasn't the most emotional guy.
Right.
Growing up. So then I think my husband just seemed normal to me.
Gotcha. Wow. Do you have any thoughts about what you want to talk about, or do you want me to keep asking questions?
You can keep asking. One, at least somewhat funny thing so my son only spent 1 night in the hospital, which is terrifying. You learn everything and then they're like, okay, you can go home now. And then
maybe not yet.
I know. And then we have, our kitchen, it was a complete gut remodel. And then I'd say we're like, 3 weeks in. And then, you've got your contractor guy that's there every morning. So he was the very first person I saw after diagnosis.
Oh.
So, and it's just weird because I was here every morning and then I'm just not here. So he just like looked at me and then I just started crying. So he gave me a hug.
It's like, Jesus, I just want to get paid. These people can't fall apart right now. I got a lot of money into this place.
It was just like so weird though. Because it's like invasive having someone in your house while you're going through like trauma.
Yeah. Did you end up sharing a lot of it with the contractor because of that?
Yeah. I tried really hard to not be my mom. So like, this can't be a secret. This can't be something that is hidden. This is just how life is going to be. This is your life.
How successful were you in being more open?
I would say I was open, but then my son doesn't hide it, but I also felt it was his story to tell.
Okay.
So and in different situations, I'm not going to like shout it out if it's not something he wants to discuss.
Yeah. I could do an entire like series of Arden's stories of things my wife has said to other people that Arden's like, why are we telling people that?
Mm-hmm. And it's hard to be respectful. You need to be respectful, but then there's also a safety component.
Yeah. I figure that I think everybody goes through that, right? Like as the parent, you're like, well, this is kind of my story. Like, you know what I mean? Like my kid is having this experience. Like I'd like to talk to somebody about this experience that I'm having through, parenting my child with it. Except once the kid gets to a certain age, they're like, that's not your story. It's my story. And it's interesting though, because both are true. And so what do you do? So as the parent, you're supposed to like dummy up and not say anything.
Right.
Or get a friend that won't let anybody know that you've shared that thing with them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's, I'd say, Arden's a couple years older, which following the podcast was kind of nice because other than the period, I could
pretty similar,
kind of know what was coming in the next couple of years. So, college was a change and a stay-at-home mom for the most part. And then diabetes really does become your life. And then all of a sudden it's not.
Yeah. So he went away how long ago?
He's a sophomore right now.
Sophomore now. Okay. And is he managing to your expectation, like in a way that makes you comfortable, or do you feel on edge the whole time that he's away?
A little bit of both. He's not in as well a control as he would be if I was managing it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know I'm giving him grace, and it's something he has to live with and figure out. So he definitely runs higher than I'd like him to.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as he doesn't, die, I'm letting him kind of go with, he always doses, he always corrects. It's just, he does get high blood sugars that stay high longer than I'd like.
Yeah. How aware of your mom's situation is he?
Probably not at all.
You don't think he knows his grandmother had type 1?
I think he knew that, but we've never gotten into
that she passed from it.
Right. Or really any details.
Do you think you'll ever tell him that?
I'm not hiding it. He's
say,
never really
I feel like
asked.
I know. I was like, I feel like I know the answer, Laura, but I'm just asking.
Yeah, if he were to ask questions, I definitely would, but I don't think at this point, I think it would be kind of terrifying. I mean, she had corrective eye surgery, but had the broken blood vessels in her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So went through periods she couldn't see. Her fingers actually started losing circulation and literally started falling off.
At what age?
Well, she died at 49. I'd say the last couple years.
And did she still think she was doing well while her fingers were tumbling off? Or did she know at that point she wasn't?
The damage is done,
Yeah, but I'm saying is this like a 5 seconds before that happens thing? Would she have said, I'm doing great?
Probably.
Yeah. Then I think the question has to be, and I feel weird because you and I are the same age, and I feel like I'm talking to you like, hey, let me explain something to you, which makes me feel weird, but
it's okay.
Yeah, it's my job, so I'm just going to keep doing it.
It's your podcast.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, and you're here willfully. Nobody made you do this.
Up.
Yeah, that's, by the way, when some people are like, couldn't you tell they were uncomfortable? I'm like, they could have stopped at any point. I'm not holding anyway, not the point. I hope you see that what you said is correct. I think that if you just pulled him aside right now and you're like, hey, here's a story about grandma, and then you told him all that, it would be a lot and probably too much for him. But I also think that if you don't tell him anything and don't slowly open him up to that story, that one day when he finds out, and he will find out one day, he's going to be pissed at you for not telling him. There's a balance you have to keep in there. You have to tell the story slowly over years. That makes sense?
Yeah. I mean, he knows she died of diabetes and complications.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like the bigger picture. Like what I'm saying is I don't think you want to be 70 when he's 40 and have him come to you and say, hey, I really want to know about all this. And then when you tell him, he goes, oh, I wish I would have known this sooner. You can't control which way it goes. No matter what you get, you want the opposite. That's about as human of a thing as I've ever seen in my life. So if you gave him all the information, he would say later, I wish she wouldn't have told me all that. It was overwhelming. And if you keep it all from him, he's going to say, I wish somebody would have told me that I could have used that information. So I think it's a game of disseminating it as appropriate over time, with the idea of getting it all out at a time where he's capable of handling it, which in my mind would be after he's 25. That's my thought. But also, you know him better than I do. But I feel like I'm saying this because you seem like you come from a family of people who don't share anything with each other.
That's fair. Well, he's coming home today for Easter. I'll let him know.
Hey, how about that bunny? Are you still Catholic, or are you recovering, as they say, a recovering Catholic?
Non-practicing Catholic.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Still a believer, but not going to church.
Was it the church part that got you, or was it the parenting style that got you?
I would say laziness.
Wait, explain that.
When the kids were little, and then they're crying, going to church,
Okay.
as babies crying. It got too, I mean, it's terrible to say it was too hard, but.
It felt like a job, not a calling. Is that fair?
Right.
Okay. How would you describe your dad's parenting after your mom passed?
We were probably dysfunctional for a while. So he got remarried very shortly after.
Shortly after? Was he a handsome man? Handsome man?
You really like this part.
Go ahead. I like that you're laughing. Like you're about to say something horrible and you're like, oh, here's a good one. Go ahead.
He didn't tell us.
He didn't tell you they got married?
No.
Get the fuck out of here.
So now you might change the name of
I have to tell you, I think I'm not recording enough recording once a day. I feel like I'm leaving a lot on the table. Wait a minute. Jesus Christ. Hold on a second.
Yeah, that was weird.
How long had your mom been gone?
I think he got married within the year.
Within a year. Were they happy?
Yes and no. It got dysfunctional at the end. So my dad got diagnosed with diabetes pretty close to where my mom started failing. And then I think there was part of him that blamed her for her.
Oh, like she didn't do a good enough job.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then he got a type A, trying to control her and make her treat it different.
Day late and dollar short.
It almost became a competition.
Oh, awesome. So was he, gosh, sometimes, I don't know, sometimes things pop in my head and I think, don't say that.
You can say it.
Well, you say that now, but was he just looking for someone to hold his penis, or was he was he lonely, or was he why do you think he got remarried so quickly? Sorry to say penis, talking about your dad. I apologize.
You can say penis.
Okay,
he has one. Okay. So that was actually how he got diagnosed, to change the subject, was he was driving. My mom and dad were maybe driving on an hour trip, and he had to pee so bad that he actually made her hold his penis, and while he peed in a cup. And then she was like, this is not normal.
I am the best interviewer in the world. Seriously. Those guys that they say Dan Rather and all that bullshit. Right?
You say penis and then you get a story.
I got that story from you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So your mom and dad are driving down the road. He's got undiagnosed diabetes, probably LADA, and he's peeing so much that your mom handles the thing. I don't know where to go. She handles everything while he's driving so that they stop. Yeah. So that it's nice you call your dad's penis a unit. I think he'd like that. And and so because instead of pulling over constantly,
they were on the highway, and he had to go so bad.
I got to say, I'm assuming the romance was gone by then.
I don't know. She was holding it.
Laura, that's your description of sex, not mine.
Fair.
Wow. How about that? Well, that's the best story anyone's ever going to tell. We can just close the podcast down now. It's over. It's awesome. Ooh, okay. But no, back to him sneaky getting married. How long was your dad married before you knew it? Remarried?
6 months.
So you at school? Were you at college?
So I was out of college at this point and living in Connecticut. And then my sister still lived in the hometown, but not. Your sister
lived in a home in the town your dad lived in, but going to school, but pretty locally, but not in the house. He was married for 6 months and nobody knew it.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead. Whatever you're going to say, I want to hear.
I think he was ashamed. And then I think he got bullied a little bit into getting married sooner than he wanted to.
Okay. So he was ashamed.
He got ultimatums.
Okay. He was ashamed to be in a relationship, and then a bossy lady made him marry her.
Kind of.
Are they still married?
They are.
Is she still bossy?
She's.
Oh, you don't like her at all, do you? You don't have to say.
Comment.
You don't have to say. Okay. All right. Sorry. Sometimes I forget other people are going to hear this.
It's one of those. Do you share that you did a podcast, or just be generic Laura? Which probably after I said my mom was holding my dad's penis, I'll just
I want to be completely clear. You shouldn't tell anybody about this.
I'm thinking I won't.
No, I wouldn't tell your husband. I'd literally not. This is the one time I'm going to tell you. I'd keep this to myself if I was you. Yeah.
Shouldn't I tell my son? Thought that was your advice.
You should start being honest tomorrow. Okay. Not today. Yeah, you've been too honest. There's no way you should tell anybody about this.
I'm thinking I won't.
You said your husband cracked. Like, it was 10 minutes into this.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. So I just need to know, where do you meet? Is it like a lady up the street who was like, oh, look who's free? Was it one of those things?
She is Korean and had like a store, like a convenience store.
Okay.
And I don't know.
I don't know what her being Korean has to do with this, but that's awesome. I really appreciate that you said that for some reason.
Well, she wasn't Catholic.
You're just letting me know she wasn't Catholic. I see. I think Koreans can be Catholic.
That's fair.
Yeah. I think there's a whole episode of The West Wing about that. Is there not? I don't know. That's a long time ago. Sorry. Okay. Wow. Holy shit. I'm not usually this tired before an hour.
I kept a lot in, man.
Wow, you let a lot out too. You've been listening to the podcast for 6 years, you think? I'm looking at your notes.
Yeah, so it's funny. I was going back. So I don't listen to it as much as I used to.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're done now. Goodbye. No, wait, what?
So basically, I would say I listened to it up until my son went to college. Mm-hmm. Because there's nothing I can really do to change him now. Like, he doesn't want my advice.
Oh, I disagree.
So I feel like if I listen and then get frustrated, want to tell him something and he's just like, whatever, mom.
Yeah.
Almost like would make me more frustrated.
Oh.
So I still listen periodically because I enjoy listening to you. But I would say at the beginning, I started very close to when you were doing the series with Jenny. Mm-hmm. So it was just very informative in a very easy to digest way. And you didn't do as many podcasts back then. So what I would do, I went a year back. So I would listen to all of your current ones and then have like another, like starting from a year until I caught up.
Oh, I see. Okay. Am I making too much? Should I stop?
No.
Okay, I can't stop now, by the way. This thing's a runaway train. I'm not in charge.
Like, I don't want to. It doesn't matter what
I'm not in charge of that anymore, by the way. It gets made the way it gets made now. Honestly, where the excitement comes from for me, like literally is after talking to you today, I just want to go talk to somebody else. Like, I'd like to hang up, have a sandwich, come back and talk to somebody else. Like, I genuinely love doing this. I'm starting to think about making other podcasts that I don't even think people are ever going to hear. Like, I'll tell you a secret. I've already set one up. I found this person who's just really expert at a thing. And I told him, I'm like, I would like to sit and talk to you for hours, like just hours and hours. And it's got nothing to do with diabetes. And I'll just put it out in a different podcast. I don't even care if anybody listens to it or not. Like, I just think it's interesting to find a person who's so expert at something. I don't want a bullet pointed, like a slideshow about like, here's the things I do. And like, I don't give a shit about any of that. Like, I want to know about how a person who's that good at something and that dedicated to it, how they think, like about other things. Like, I think there's something to be learned in there. And I'm going to do the interview for as many hours as it takes. And then I'm going to put it together. And then I'm going to go look for somebody else who's like interesting like that and have a conversation with them. I don't even care if anybody ever hears it. Like, I think it'd just be great to do. So the truth is that I could put out an episode every 12 hours, I think, if I really followed my heart on it. But I'm slowing myself down because I'm now putting episodes out like every day, and people are consuming them. So, I don't know. Like, I love talking to people. Like, you are so interesting.
Well, thank you. I think you have a good podcast voice. So if you do another one, I'll listen to you.
It'll work out? Okay.
It'll work out. You'll at least have one follower.
A topic you don't care anything about. Just talking to the person.
Maybe you should just go on the streets and find someone and be like, hey, you want to talk?
I think I could, by the way. Like, there's part of me that thinks I could show up at a diner and just like keep putting people in a booth and talking to them. I think there's something really interesting about a lot of people. Plus, look at all the stuff they hold inside.
Exactly. No, I think everyone has a story.
Yeah. Tell me something crazy that you haven't told me yet. Like, think crazier. Is there a story? Does something pop into your head? Even if you don't want to tell it to me, you don't have to tell it to me. But does something, like, if I said, tell me something about yourself, you don't tell other people, that I would go, oh my God, is that true? Like, does something come into your head?
I can't think of anything.
Interesting. You need the conversation to find it.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. No, not just you. I was kind of making a point. Sorry.
Now I'll think about it all day. So if someone else
people
asks.
don't know what's interesting about them. I think it ends up being true over and over again. Like, if you ask me about me, I don't know how to talk about me, which people are probably like, that's a lie. But like, if you got me away from this microphone and said, like, I think I did an interview the other day with a guy named Nick, and he's like, what do you do for fun? And I was like, I don't know, man. I just make this podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is fun.
And so when the tables were turned on me and he just asked me, I didn't have an immediate answer. Now, he wasn't trying or skilled at like getting it out of me. Like, so I'm sure somebody could get it out of me, but at the same time, I don't know if I could stop long enough to answer their questions.
But that's what I think is interesting for you to do this podcast and another. Diabetes has been your life since Arden was 2 or 4. And now she's in college, she's an adult, and she doesn't need you quite as much. And, you're still giving so much to the community, but it almost is like you can take a step back.
I think that I've taken my ability or my skill or whatever the hell this is, right? However we got to all the things about your life we got to in 58 minutes. And I will submit that we got to a lot. Okay. Like, so whatever. And part of that is because you trust me and because you've been listening for a long time. Like, and you feel I'm putting words in your mouth, but you probably feel grateful to me in some way, right?
I do.
Yeah. Right. So you're open to me already. But I'm almost interested, like, do these skills that I've developed to have conversations for people with diabetes, like, would it transfer over to something like when I can't ask about, like, hey, tell me about your diagnosis? I know this is going to sound crazy to people, maybe, but like when I ask about your diagnosis, like that's me being lazy and me realizing that you want to hear about people's diabetes. That's why you're here. But my inclination is not to talk about the diabetes as much. Like, I think that part just comes out in a conversation, but I don't know if I might be wrong. So
I agree to a point. I think everyone's story, whether it's your whoever is important to you that's diagnosed, whether it happened a week ago or it happened 30 years ago. It's such a traumatic part of life of your life, and you can remember every single detail. Like, I remember like watching. I can still go back to the hospital and remember that uncomfortable chair I slept in. I remember the person in the room we were sharing the room with. I remember like what was on the TV. So I think when doing a podcast, the details of the diagnosis are so bright and brilliant that you just remember them, and it's easy to talk about.
No, and don't get me wrong, like I want people to talk about that stuff. I kind of meant from like a interviewing perspective. Like, those are the ones I just ask, like, because I know people want the answers, but like,
well, you can't really ask, did your mom ever hold your dad's penis while driving in a car?
Although that's going to be the opening question now. I'm going to be like, instead of asking people if there's other autoimmune in their family, I'd be like, have your parents ever driven and peed at the same time? That's my question.
Exactly.
So the way I think of this is the conversation that you and I had today is about being a person. And yes, you're the mother of a child with type 1, and you're the mother of a child who's, on the spectrum. You're the daughter of a woman who hid her diabetes. You're the daughter of a woman who died early because of it, of a father who probably has LADA. You're a child of, an upbringing that taught you to keep things private. And I think that if you're listening to this, like, you can't tell right now, but another person listening to this, like, all those things go together. And then hopefully they see those things in their own life and they think, oh, I should probably be more open about this because it'll very likely lead to a healthier outcome for me or my kid. Like, that to me is what we talked about today. But you have to be honest and open for it to come out. Because I could just say it. I could drag Erica on here every day And I could say, hey, Erica, hey, we're going to tell people about how they need to be open so they'll be healthy at the end. And you know what everybody will do? They'll go like this. Well, shut this. Like nobody wants to hear that. Like it might be true and it might be valuable, but nobody's going to sit for that. I was listening to my own podcast this morning because somebody told me to listen to one of them. They're like, you have to really listen back to this one. So I'm listening to it and I jump in the shower and it ends and another podcast comes on, not mine, somebody else's. And as they're like talking it up, all I could think was, oh, I gotta shut this off. I'm like, oh, this is painful. Like the way, but they were setting up like what I think would have been a really important conversation. I just didn't like the way they were doing it. It wasn't holding my attention. Like
was it their voice or their questions?
A little bit of everything. Their voice was a little not great. The boringness of the setup. I recognized the importance of what they were talking about. But the way they were saying, I was like, oh, do I really want to live through that conversation? Like, ew. And I even thought like I could use this information, but they're not going to present it in a way that's going to capture my attention. You got on this podcast and spoke honestly about 50 things. That's why somebody's listening. And hopefully now at the end, when they're getting ready to shut it off, they say to themselves, I should probably be more open and honest. I think it would be healthier. Like, that's all I'm trying to do. But I don't know that I'm trying to do that when you jump on because I don't know who you are until we start talking.
Sure.
Yeah.
Listening to podcasts, if someone's not honest, their podcast is boring. I think everyone has, I don't want to say secrets, but things that, the more you're open, the more of the flow of a conversation and hopefully the more interesting podcast.
I'm hoping to do that tomorrow. Like I'm getting to interview a professional football player tomorrow that has type 1. And I'm super excited about it. And I have a whole pathway that I think the conversation should go. But they also were like, can you send him some of the questions ahead of time? Like, so he's like ready. And I'm like, can we not? Like, I was like, can't I just talk to him the way I talked to Laura? Like, wouldn't it be great to find out if his mom was holding like his, whatever. And he's not going to let that out anyway. So like, I want to be like, let me just pick at this. But so instead of just sending a bunch of benign like questions to them, I said, this is how I just ended up sitting down and having the conversation in my head without him. And I said, this is how I hope for it to go. Because I still think there's something really important to learn from this person. And I think this is what it is. But what's going to happen if I start digging in and that's not the truth? Then it's going to die right there. And then you'll know later, like he'll either like be chill and go with it, or you'll hear me ask a bunch of the canned questions that I have like aside for him. Like that's how you'll figure out how it went. And, but I'm really hopeful because they say he's a really great guy and he's super open and everything. So I'm excited.
Well, good.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. What have we not talked about that we should have?
I think that's probably it. Otherwise, we'd have to do a whole nother podcast.
Are you in any way, shape, or form thinking of going to talk therapy now?
I think I just had my talk therapy.
You think this will do it?
I'm good.
I don't think I'm a professional. If you feel better after this, but not good, do you think you'd say to yourself, maybe I should find a therapist to talk to? Or is that not a thing you would do?
I did go to one once, just one time. It's just not really, I'm not against it. I feel day to day good enough.
Awesome. That's a great way to describe your life. Day to day, I feel good enough.
Good enough.
If you heard all right, ready? If you heard your kid describe their life like that, what would your next thought be?
How can we make it better?
Yeah. So how can you make it better?
I don't know.
We've said it 50 times, Laura. I need you to say it.
I need to talk more.
Right. There you go. That's all. Just let it out more. Find somebody. And if the people around you aren't the right people, then find somebody else who can. You'll be happy you did it. Are you happy that you had this conversation?
I am.
Yeah.
I think it's funny after talking to you or listening to you for so many years. It's just, I know so much about you, obviously. Well, now you know more about me, but it's interesting.
Why?
Actually be on a podcast.
Why is it interesting? Tell me.
Just because, again, I feel like I know so much about you, and you share so much and are so open. It's just kind of neat to actually be able to talk to you.
Be able to talk to me. Okay. All right. Am I open? Is that how I strike you as being really open?
I think you are very open.
Yeah, I think I am, but there's so much more I would say that if I didn't think, we didn't live through the whole last couple of years where everybody's so like hell bent on, on each other for saying how they feel about things. But it's going, I don't know if you noticed
That's your other podcast.
Yeah, it's going away though. I don't know if you noticed that. The zeitgeist is getting, we're drifting back to the 70s again. I can't wait. I want to be podcasting still when it's okay again to just say how you feel. Although you said a lady was Korean today for no reason. So I guess we're getting there. You just there was no reason to say that at all.
I would say I said it culturally. So she's from Korea. So, she speaks English, but.
Laura, stop. I know you don't mean anything by it. Like, that's my point.
No, I don't mean anything about it. Yeah. I think it was just, I don't know.
I'm saying I'm excited to get back to the point where somebody can just say something like that. And people don't want to be offended by it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there are plenty of people who would make a comment about somebody's background and mean something by it. You clearly don't mean anything poor about it at all. I'm excited for a time where people just hear that and keep rolling and don't hear it and go, oh, we got on our hands here. This lady's a racist. Like, no, she's not. Like, stop it. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like, I'm excited for that part. Like, where we can, like, I really feel like we're back there again. Like, it's happening. So I'm super excited. But it's one of the most ill-intended consequences of one of the political things that's happened that I'd never expected. Like, I didn't expect to be happy at all for the next couple of years. But I was like, this one thing is actually like pleasant. Like, oh, okay. Oh, I guess I'll take that.
See, and you have to be more careful on the podcast. I can offend people, but you can't.
I'm also not looking.
Or shouldn't.
Yeah. Well, there's no good reason to. Like, I wouldn't understand if you had a grocery store and you felt very strongly politically one way or the other. I would have no understanding of you making that public. Like, you're trying to sell groceries to everybody, not just the people who agree with your whims about, I don't understand that idea. Like, you're selling groceries. Like, go sell groceries to people. We don't need to hear about your opinion. And I'm trying to help people with their diabetes, not just people with diabetes who lean one way or the other. So, and the truth is I don't feel strongly in any direction. Like, I find myself thinking mostly like I hear things and I go, that makes sense. That's a common sense thing. And so is that. And I think that somebody would take the first thought and attribute it way right, and the other thought and attribute it way left. And I listen to both of them, and I think those things make a lot of sense to me. So
yeah. Back in the day, I still think I'm independent, but I have opinions.
I honestly, for the first time, said to somebody, I was like, should I spend 5 minutes changing my affiliation to independent? Like, would that be a better representation of me? And then I was like, does it even matter? Like, I don't know, if it matters or not.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Also, I come from a time where being moderate was a good thing. And then people spent years telling you that meant you didn't have an opinion. And I'm like, that's not true. So I don't know. It's very strange. But anyway, I like where we're headed right now in this one vein. I like that everybody's not running around judging everybody every 5 seconds, because that was really tiresome and boring, and I did not enjoy it at all. Okay. Well, here we go, Laura. You're awesome. We're calling this episode Scribbling.
All right.
Seriously, it was awesome. Like, I could not have had a better time with you. I appreciate you jumping on such short notice.
Well, good. I'm glad you replied. I'm glad I got to talk to you.
You were the first person that said they were available. By the way, you weren't the only person who said they were available tomorrow. You were the first person. And I said, first come, first serve. And then there you are. So
there I was.
I genuinely appreciate it. All right. Hold on 1 second for me. Give me 1 second. Thanks for tuning in today, and thanks to Medtronic Diabetes for sponsoring this episode. We've been talking about Medtronic's MiniMed 780G system today, an automated insulin delivery system that helps make diabetes management easier day and night. Whether it's their meal detection technology or the Medtronic extended infusion set, it all comes together to simplify life with diabetes. Go find out more at my link, medtronicdiabetes.com/juicebox. I'd like to thank the blood glucose meter that my daughter carries, the Contour NextGen blood glucose meter. Learn more and get started today at contournext.com/juicebox. And don't forget, you may be paying more through your insurance right now for the meter you have. then you would pay for the Contour NextGen in cash. There are links in the show notes of the audio app you're listening in right now, and links at juiceboxpodcast.com to Contour and all of the sponsors. The episode you just enjoyed was sponsored by the twiist AID system powered by Tidepool. If you want a commercially available insulin pump with twiist lube that offers unmatched personalization and precision for peace of mind, you want twiist. twiist.com/juicebox. Hey, thanks for listening all the way to the end. I really appreciate your loyalty and listenership. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back very soon with another episode of the Juicebox Podcast. Check out my algorithm pumping series to help you make sense of automated insulin delivery systems like Omnipod 5, Loop, Medtronic 780G, twiist, Tandem Control IQ, and much more. Each episode will dive into the setup, features, and real-world usage tips that can transform your daily type 1 diabetes management. We cut through the jargon, share personal experiences, and show you how these algorithms can simplify and streamline your care. If you're curious about automated insulin pumping, go find the Algorithm Pumping series in the Juicebox Podcast. Easiest way, juiceboxpodcast.com, and go up into the menu. Click on series, and it'll be right there. Hey, what's up, everybody? If you've noticed that the podcast sounds better and you're thinking like, how does that happen? What you're hearing is Rob at Wrong Way Recording doing his magic to these files. So if you want him to do his magic to you, wrongwayrecording.com. You got a podcast? You want somebody to edit it? You want Rob.